And thanks for joining me. This is King of Podcasts. Really appreciate all of you listening in. Make sure to go rate and review the show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and please subscribe wherever you find podcasts. And if you're listening here on YouTube or watching on the YouTube channel, appreciate you being there. Feel free to go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. You know the deal. Come on now. So once again, I'm happy to go and welcome back a return guest, the co-founder CEO of FilterOff, and the website is getfilteroff.com. And look for FilterOff wherever you find on your apps, the Play Store or iTunes. And I'm here again with Zach Schleien. Zach, thanks for coming on back.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
I appreciate it. I know we made some good headway last time we were on together, and the name of the show's changed a little bit, but that's really is because of interviews like I did with you that really made me feel like, with all the research and all the things that I do and trying to just self-reflect and self-improve, that I wanted to move more into the direction where we talk more about dating culture, more about societal norms, and just the things that are happening where young men and women are looking to try to be together. And where I just feel like there's something that needs to be done to bring more people together and bring people closer, and to let love be more important than anything else that's going on, because there's so much divisiveness and things are going on today that I always wonder if guys and girls or just partners are able to go and find compatibility with each other and find desirability. And that's part of where I think things are. When you brought the site together, the app, was that one of the things you were looking at, about that there's not enough love in the world and that we need to find ways for people to really shoot their shot and be able to get to connect with each other?
Yeah, it really came down to that online dating is broken, and wanted to facilitate a much more authentic online dating experience. So singles can look beyond the profile and kind of date in person virtually.
It's needed. I mean, it's just that we all know there's the wall that everybody has, the online dating wall is there, and always saying, well, then there has to be some kind of a paywall that goes on top of that. I've brought that up many times. And I think we're starting to get a little bit tired of the traditional dating app, in terms of not what we're talking about here with FilterOff, but all the other competition that's out there. Your traditional that's been around for a long time. And The Guardian talked about that recently. They talk about the demise of the dating app. Clickbait, but let's get into what they actually say. They said, now, why singles are swapping online matching for real life meetings. The desire to meet a new partner remains undimmed, but they might be more easily found at a film club than on a phone screen. Then they go on to say, no one seems to know what they want, and trying to meet anyone has proved nearly impossible. Also, no one really knows how to date, what to say, where to meet, or recognize if there's chemistry, so we give up, leaving us baffled and frustrated. So talk to me about how you would spin that for those that might be in that same category, in that same kind of discussion, and how the speed dating platform like FilterOff could put a glimmer of hope on dating desires.
Yeah, sure. I think what it comes down to is most singles do not like dating apps. However, however, they're not dying anytime soon. It's still the de facto way of meeting someone. Just the reality is it's so easy just going on a dating app and swiping for hours, and you may get no one, you may amass lots of matches, but it is difficult to transition from the virtual world to the real one. With FilterOff, that is really our focus, to bring you on a video date so you can then meet in person. So I think what it comes down to is, yeah, people are frustrated, and there really is there's a need for a new sort of dating app for people to connect authentically.
And then once you get this together, because the thing is, there is one thing to lead people to the app and get onto speed date, but then it's the hope that they should have, the glimmer of hope they should have, that they can feel like they're going to find some really quality people that are within driving distance of where they are, and that you're getting. It's always been the thing where speed dating is to get some people in front, so that you are kind of prepared. You're in the zone to meet new people. You're showing excitement. You're enthusiastic. You show your charisma. You take that short amount of time to show your best form of yourself, and see if that's enough to go ahead and resonate to the person you're talking to, and this other way around. So for me, I just look at that and I just say, we need more of that. There has to be a way to get more people to connect together. And that's why I like what you've been doing on FilterOff. That's why I like to have you on and we talk about it. They also go on the right in this Guardian article. Quote, the cry often here is, why can't I meet someone in real life? For dating apps do not feel real. There's a lot of research that shows people behave far worse online than they ever would in public. But that's because, sure, there's people that already kind of do this already. They might go ahead and meet each other and then FaceTime each other, which I can't do because I don't have an iPhone. But anyways, people body shame, ghost, attack, humiliate, mess around, say they are interested when they are not in a way that most human beings would not do if they met the other person in the flesh and maybe saw that there was a real human being in front of them, rather than a potentially half-truth profile and a filtered picture. So this gateway from online speed dating, Zach, to meeting in person, it's cutting away all those bad habits. When you look at it from the people that meet together on FilterOff, and what are some of the things that you notice, if there are still some habits like that happen where people still want to just be under some kind of cloud of secrecy, they're not necessarily being completely open to the person on the other side of the screen, like it would be a FaceTime call. It's like they're not necessarily doing it where there's nothing to lose, and they're not feeling like they still have to put some kind of barriers in front, even if you're trying to meet face to face.
Yeah, I mean, our app attracts a certain type of user, which is someone who wants to meet face to face, given it's a video speed dating app, whether you attend a virtual event or you get our daily picks where you get about 5 a day, which leads to a video speed date on your own time. So yeah, I mean, if you're not looking to meet people, FilterOff's not the right app for you. If you're just looking to swipe and sit on I always say, like, you're just sitting on the toilet swiping. Yeah, we're not the app for that. So yeah, I mean, we're an app where people actually want to meet in person, have that sort of human connection, which is so lacking in the online dating industry. So yeah, that's kind of where we fall in to the dating app industry, the many dating apps in this industry.
Well, now it's the type of people that come on, because it's going to be for any spot where we know that there's been video incorporated into other dating apps, and it's also the thought where people feel like, are they taking it seriously? Are you really going to take something across here? Because I think the other thing too is that it's that transition, and I will talk about that. Or there's some other technology out there that's being put into the dating space to try to force the issue, and it's about once you have that conversation. I mean, how often would you say there's a success rate of those that are actually connecting with each other, and there's a chance that they actually will meet off the site?
Yeah, I mean, it's much higher when you go on a FaceTime versus just messaging back and forth, because that is it's almost like the first date before the first date when you're on a FaceTime date. A phone call or just texting is not necessarily representative of that person. So yeah, like you said, we attract someone who's more intentional, who wants to meet.
And it's to break the habit. I just read a story recently about how there was a young lady in her early 30s that was connecting with someone through Hinge. And for a year, they only talked on that app. They never talked anywhere else. I don't think there was any phone numbers or DMs for Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that was even done. So that means both of them had to go and pay for the service the entire year. That was the only place they connected with each other. And then eventually, 1 year later, this guy who's been talking to her, helping her basically with her self-esteem, in 7 years into the conversations, the therapist she's been seeing says, you should keep talking to him. It's healthy for you. And I'm like, you're not going anywhere with this. There's no physical or personal or facial interaction. They did do videos back and forth, but it was really just video messages. It wasn't even actual video contact live and in real time. So this lady was under that impression for a year. And then the guy ghosted her for a while. And then about a month later, he comes back saying, I found somebody in person that I'm with and I'm really happy with her. But he kept kind of encouraging, don't worry about it. Maybe we're going to meet each other someday. we're gonna have some chance to meet each other. He kept going with the hope that something would happen. There's those kind of stories that go out there. I mean, do you see where there's the level of discouragement where even if the video component is now in play, and if somebody does start talking, I mean, what do you say about when somebody would get on, if they go to the speed dating app, but then they just decide, well, let's just keep doing this after we get off the app?
I mean, sounds kind of silly to me. The whole point of FilterOff is that you go on a video date quickly. You hear many stories. I mean, that one I would say is an extreme, but pretty typical, where people are messaging back and forth for a week or two, and they finally meet up and realize they're not the right fit very quickly, when they could have just jumped on a quick video chat, and within 10 to 20 seconds, they would have known they weren't the right fit. So I think it's just, again, it's an opportunity cost. It's a waste of your time. Hop on a quick video chat, see if you are attracted, if you have any sort of chemistry, and then meet in person. So I think it's just, FilterOff provides a better habit of a way to date.
It's part of the people trying to have some emotional attachment once they get to a certain point. I can tell you, I'm a victim of that, because I know I did it myself. It wasn't so much where I was talking off and on offline after I talked to somebody on a different site. And then it did take almost a year to the day to finally meet up. And it was nothing at all. I mean, the girl was very attractive and she was very sweet, but we didn't have any compatibility at all. There was just something where it wasn't there. But I mean, she wasn't prepared for anyone at all. It's just like, I'm probably kind of like convinced her finally, or persuaded her to finally meet up after all this time. And there were times we didn't talk and we didn't this and that. So like, there's that thing there that a lot of people that have been in the dating space for a long time, if they're going to take the option to go to speed dating with FilterOff, right? They've already been kind of damaged by all the other apps, by all the other experiences they had. So it's a matter of, I mean, I would imagine you have to have a fresh viewpoint, kind of reset your thoughts and your opinions on this, and come in here with the right attitude. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the users on FilterOff actually don't use dating apps because they do not like how dating apps are designed, where it's very superficial. So we see a lot of those users. We also have a lot of users that are just looking to meet people within their community. And that's really what FilterOff's about. Having that like sense of community, belonging. We have all sorts of events, Jewish singles events, divorced and widowed singles events, dog lover events. So it's just a way to meet like-minded people. And we really set ourselves apart from like a typical swipe app, where you're just swiping on someone who may be close to you, but you have no idea why you're getting served them in the algorithm.
So what is it about people that come to FilterOff that you're persuading more people that are not accustomed to the dating scene of the traditional dating apps? What is it about that you notice? I'm not asking for any metrics, but what is it that you notice is the onus when you find out? When you ask the question, what brought you to FilterOff? What made you interested? What is it about the fact that they came fresh off of not being from a dating app experience, why they wanted to be on the site in the first place?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, with FilterOff, it's dating in person, virtually. And that's that feeling you get where you're never going to get anything like that from any other dating app.
Now, I want to talk to you about what you spoke with Media Post about recently, and I'm glad I got to read it without a paywall. Thank you, Media Post. It was about the potential of meeting someone to date in the metaverse. So like, let's take another layer. Let's go to virtual reality now and make a new community, which we already knew that was coming in, where all these major corporations are coming in. They're building businesses. They're building, infrastructure. They're building neighborhoods. So why wouldn't dating go into that space at some point? And you've talked about it. This is what you said in the Media Post about this. Quote, the perspective I take is to continue to provide a really authentic experience to online daters. That's still years away. There's now the possibility of dating in the metaverse. However, your avatar doesn't necessarily look like you, so it's quite easy to catfish, quite difficult to verify if someone who's they actually say they are. So what are some of the steps, Zach, that you feel like need to be made if FilterOff does set up shop in Decentraland?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned in that article, for us to participate, that's years away, given it's still pretty primitive. It is right now an avatar character in the metaverse, which again is not representative of what you look like. The whole point of FilterOff is there is no catfishing because it's
Right.
face-to-face video. So that's extremely important. I would say that's one of the most important things needed to date in the metaverse. What also is needed is just a way to, again, this is more from like security, but like a way to verify someone who they say they are, as well as their age. You don't want anyone below 18. So there are, I mean, those problems you could solve through some other ways, putting in like uploading like your driver's license, for instance. But yeah, I mean, I think there are just, it is years away, and it will be the de facto way to date at some point, just not right now.
Now, one of the things that really fascinated me as well is we're starting to see, and I got to ask you about this now. In the Media Plus article, you go on to say this, that video has become the de facto to online dating. Quote, typically now, more than half of online daters post-pandemic see video as the medium to connect with prior to meeting up in person, and that'll be the same in the metaverse. So in future, to meeting up in person, meeting in the metaverse will be the norm. But here's what I think about is that if you are getting people on video, of course, catfishing, we don't want to see that. But we do know now that in the virtual world and in the metaverse, eventually, you're going to have deep fakes. You're going to have virtual influencers or virtual people that could be on there, and some new levels of catfishing technology that's actually now on the forefront. What can you say about that in order to be able to curb that kind of activity?
Yeah, maybe that's out of my pay grade as a CEO. That would be a question I would ask my CTO.
Right. But I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just saying that is something that's going to be down the line. You know, we all know that, and I'm just saying this as a broad thing. Every dating site has something where they have to go and deal with people that are fake profiles, or they have, scammers that are going on to like the sugar daddy sites and try to make money off these poor girls that are on there trying to go and find somebody that will help them with money on that. Right. Those things are going on. And there's always some ulterior motives, always some bad actors going on to these sites, opening up profiles and trying to go ahead and monetize or take advantage of people that are a bit vulnerable by putting themselves up on a dating site. So in this case here, in the video portion, if that can be done too, that's something I would be concerned about. So I just put it out there, and I appreciate that. It's not something that, I don't think anybody has an answer for it, but for me, I'd rather put this in the forefront.
Yeah, I think there are behaviors that you see, again, a lot of scammers, catfish. So that's one. Two, like you just need to have like robust reporting capabilities. So if someone does ask you for money, you can report them. But I think a lot of it also comes down to like education for users. So like scams to get you off of a platform, scams to loan you money. And they do target typically women and oftentimes older women, unfortunately. So yeah, I think it's a mix of education, having robust reporting, and then also this inability to catfish people. I think that's essential as well.
Yeah. It's a lot of that. So I want to go and move along now. And when it comes to just closing out this discussion about the metaverse, I mean, these foresee people that will, if they meet online and they meet on through a video, like the speed dating perhaps. What about if the fact is that if it's in the metaverse or meeting, that they just decide to go and have virtual dates in the metaverse? What do you do about that? You can't even get them to meet in person. And that becomes another hurdle that comes into play because of the technology we have coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's same. I mean, it's different, but it's same sort of behavior. Someone who just video calls with someone and never meets up, even if they're in the same city. And that's really up to the user to make that decision. I would understand if it's long distance, but if they're in the same city, that's kind of a pity. But being in the metaverse, yeah, it will happen where people only date in the metaverse. But again, there are outliers, and I would hope that the metaverse is just a way to facilitate like a really authentic experience prior to the first in-person date. But again, it's really up to the user.
I have this right here that I wanted to hold to the end because this story came out and it's been out there for a while, but I just saw it pop up again. The conversation really wrote about this, but then I saw this in the Telegraph in the UK. A new app that is out, I don't want to give the name, but it's named after one of the days of the week. I'll just say that. So the app, the gimmick is this. It's available one day a week. And it locks down for 6 days a week to encourage users to match, exchange contact details, and arrange a date within 24 hours. And whatever conversation you have by there, if you don't get it done by 12:01 a.m. on Friday, all the messages go away, erased. So you actually are being forced, if you got somebody that you meet and you're compatible with and you're talking to them, which I believe they have video capabilities as well, one day, that's it. And then you have to meet the person within 24 hours if you're interested. When you see a gimmick like that, what do you think about that? I mean, what would you say if that was something that you decided to implement into FilterOff?
Yeah, I mean, that app is more of an events app for singles. The tech component, you could just look at the reviews to see how effective it is. But yeah, I mean, for us, we do, aside from our virtual speeding, we also host in-person events right now in New York City, one day a week for different communities to facilitate in-person. And then prior to our in-person events, one day before, we offer a virtual experience. So you could actually meet the people that are going to the in-person event. So I think that's a lot of fun. It's exciting and it works. Yeah, I think that's a much better approach instead of just having regular singles mixers. So yeah, that's what we do. Again, I think there could be many players in the space. As you can see, many people have 3 to 5 dating apps on their phone. It's not a winner take all industry. I encourage other competitors to put their own spin on online dating. We just feel taking a much more communal aspect and blending the virtual world with an in-person one is the best approach.
But do you think there's anything where in the idea of trying to encourage, nudge, persuade, because you're already getting people up to go and do the speed dating, you already get them in the mindset that you need to go ahead and try to make a connection here in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes. And once that happens, do you feel like there would be anything that would help to kind of say, well, we have an event coming up this right here after this date. Why don't you go meet at this local event? Why don't you go ahead and RSVP right now? Something like that.
Yeah. So we don't want you staying in the text either. That's why if you do match with someone using like our, the daily picks that we provide you every day, and you do match with someone, you only have 5 days to coordinate a video chat or the match will expire. Gotcha. So again, it's the same, similar to what you see in other dating apps where you may have 300 matches just laying in your feed. I think that's pretty inefficient and silly. On FilterOff, we actually want you to meet and connect on video. So that's why we have like the different nudges and we have that timer of a 5-day timer. But if you do match, if you take your video call prior to the 5 days and you both like each other, then we don't let it expire or anything. We don't want to penalize you after you jump on a video call.
Okay. I agree with that. But I do like the fact that it's actually something you were already kind of working on at the same time when we talked, the fact that you actually have this kind of thing in place, that if you're going to want something effectively to do to date, it's a matter of no longer beating around the bush. And if you're serious about it, I think that's the mindset that people should have when they're trying to date online. The casual just flip across, and swipe left or right kind of feel, it's dead. I mean, I don't think anybody's really getting much out of that these days. I'm not saying you can't, but I think the possibilities, the percentages are not high. that's where I think things are, is you can try to go through it all you want, but when you're talking about, you don't want to waste a lot of time and you don't want to waste a lot of energy and continuously have to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody out there, which is the part I hate the most about all these apps, is that here, you know, you're going to retain exactly what's going to go on in the video conversation. You're going to have a lot more to retain off of meeting somebody in person. Plus, knowing that the amount of time that you have, it's a little bit of pressure, but it's the pressure that you need to make sure that you put your A game in front when you're talking to somebody special, because you never know who it might be. And sometimes that choice meeting, how many times we met somebody that we only talked to for a couple minutes and have left just a lingering, a lasting effect. That's the same idea here. So I want to go and prompt people again. FilterOff is the app, video speed dating, and look for it on iTunes. Look for it in Google Play, wherever you're going to have that available. And can you talk to me real quick, Zach, about some of the events you have going on? I know as a recorder, you're about to have an event for divorcees and widows. We've talked before about people that were in the 420 space that were cannabis users. There's various different types. Obviously, we're recording in the middle of Pride Month. You also have a part where it goes to the LGBTQIA plus community. So talk to me about some of the events that you have that are ongoing that people should take a look at.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to share that we've now added 100 identities that you can choose if you are in the LGBTQIA plus space. So really want to create a really inclusive environment for all people. We run weekly gay events, weekly lesbian events. So all sorts of people, so they could feel included and find their person. Aside from that space, we have divorce and widowed single date nights. We have dog lover date nights. You could even create your own events. So if you are part of a community and maybe it's not on the FilterOff app, or you just want to make it private for your community, or even potentially sell tickets, you could do so on the FilterOff app free of charge. So it's just a way for you to bring your community together and provide a really fun dating experience.
You know, I never asked these kind of questions, but I'm going to ask it here. Do you have any testimonials that you've gotten when somebody asks you, like, how well has FilterOff worked for a couple? Is there anything in particular you could tell us briefly about the real benefit of being on the app, and what kind of love has been sprouted as a result?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, what I'm aware of since we launched during the pandemic, we've created about 5 marriages, one of which was covered in the New York Times, which is really cool to see. Yeah, and I get users who reach out and say, hey, I met someone on FilterOff. I've been using this a swipe app for a year now, and it was just like going through tons of people, but with FilterOff, it was much more curated. And we jumped on a video date and we really liked each other. So I see that time and time again, because we really care about quality over quantity and just want you to meet your person.
That's fantastic. So, you know, it's for me in general, when it talks about what I'm trying to do right here on this program, is to encourage love again. And it doesn't matter whatever background, persuasion, culture, race, gender, wherever you come from, but we need more love in the world and be more accepting of each other, because there's just so much now that I feel like with the societal changes, with all the different norms, people adding politics into their lives, I just feel like there's just so much there that people are just, you know, the things are changing so much that people just can't learn how it is to find somebody who is the masculine or feminine, whatever traits, to have a balance of like what people are like, so that whoever you're compatible with, you can find someone that you desire, more importantly, and then you get together, and then you're able to go ahead and find people that are like-minded when it comes to friendships, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to possibly marriage. I want more people to be happy out there. So this is the focus here. And I like that what you're doing that with FilterOff, that it's the opportunity for that to happen. And you're cutting out all the crap of what all the other sites are doing that are just kind of just placating and kind of just circling the plates. We're just not getting anywhere. Let's get results. Results are happening with FilterOff. And that's why I really appreciate what you're doing right here with this. So Zach, as we wrap things up, is there anything else you want to make mention of in terms of any events that you're really excited to tell us about, or any kind of features that are up right now? What's going on with FilterOff now that you can share with us that people should really be even more enticed to download?
Sure. So in July, we're launching a pretty massive redesign. It's going to make the app feel even more alive and more dynamic. So I'm really excited. So you'll see a huge update in the next few weeks. Yeah, I think it'll be a game changer in the online dating industry.
Well, I'm about to get myself a subscription. I have not done it yet. I know I've looked at it, but it's just, I'm going to get on there. And Zach, I appreciate you talking to me again about this. This has been great. Get FilterOff.com. Take a look at that now. I'll be doing it myself, and I'll give an update on the program and let you see how it works out. Again, Zach Schleien, co-founder and CEO of FilterOff. Thanks for being on with the program. Appreciate you taking the time with us again. And let's definitely keep in touch.
For sure. Thanks so much for having me.